everybody, and welcome back to another episode of El Koki Otaku. Today with us, we have a very special guest. She voices Claire Francois in I'm in Love with the Villainess, Erika Amano in A Couple of Cuckoos, Akari Watanabe in More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers, Frido and Rio in Hello Kitty Superstyle, Sayaka Koyanagi and Gleipnir, and honestly the list keeps on going. So please give it up for Sheppard.
Hello.
There you go. Okay, now.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
No, thanks to you, it is an honor.
To be honest with you, I'm so excited for today's episode because I'm a big fan of Slice of Life, and you have like a great lineup of series that I love, especially during the past 2 years. So yeah, I'm excited for today, to be honest.
Thank you so much.
Like when I saw the experience, like, oh my god, she's here, she's there. Okay, we need to make this happen, please, because I know we're going to have fun here, because I'm a person that always down for drama in any aspect.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, like novelas, like Hispanic person, novelas, grew up watching novelas. So yeah, so look, bring me the drama, Slice of Life. And talking about with drama, let's start with one of the latest one audition to the Crunchyroll list with I'm in Love with the Villainess, where you had the main role of Villainess, where you're the main role of Claire Francois.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am absolutely loving this show right now, and the fan support has just been absolutely amazing. Like everybody's just so wonderful on it, and like everybody's tagging us and everything, and I can't keep up with all the comments. It's just such a feel-good show, you know?
So with that said, for those of us who haven't watched I'm in Love with the Villainess yet, how would you describe this show?
Initially, lots of loud screaming, hijinks, and craziness, with sweet moments kind of peeking through, and then it gets more serious as time goes on, with still some silly stuff, but we touch on very serious topics throughout that are very important, especially to the LGBTQ community, and I'm just so happy to be part of it.
Feel free to throw some spoilers. I'm a person that enjoys spoilers, and for my surprise, I found many people. Heads up, I have confession. This is on my list to watch. I haven't watched it yet. I have no clue why I haven't watched it, to be honest with you. But throw me any spoiler, because I love spoilers too. I love a spoiler because it makes me like, damn, I need to watch it now before. So tell me here.
Okay, here is the big spoiler. I'm the villainess.
Chan.
But all the spoilers are in here. I'm on book 4 already, and there's 5 books, and it's so good, and you should pick it up because it's really, really good.
Speaking of the fact that there are very few Yuri anime, and this is finally like one of them, because we always get more, or GL, we always get more BL or boys love rather than girls love, and it's like, okay, boys love, like the amount of anime there is like huge, and then when you get to the girls side, it's like there's very, very few, and to have like one new one, it's like, okay, finally there's another option.
I absolutely love that, and I love that it's so wholesome too. It's not filled with a whole bunch of fan service and everything. There's a lot of love in the show, and Emily, our director, has just done a wonderful job with the casting and just bringing us like to the peak of our performances for every moment of the show. Just like, it's just so good. You just gotta watch it.
For those who haven't watched it, I'm so mad with myself. I'm like, why haven't we seen this one? But would you compare this series with Blooming Into You?
I'm bad. I haven't seen that one yet, but I have heard people compare the two.
Interesting.
Yeah,
All right,
definitely.
so Lindsay, talking about I'm in love with the villainess, which scene would you say is like has been your favorite?
Oh, there's stuff that hasn't come out yet, so I'm not going to do any spoilers. But every episode just gets better and better. So like one scene might be my favorite, and then the next week, something that I record that week is going to be my favorite. But there's so many. But I have to say, honestly, some of the scenes where Hannah just like just goes wild with Ray's takes on like Ray is just so over the top. Hannah just does a wonderful job, and reacting to some of these scenes is just it's so funny. I'll be cracking up in the booth, or I'll be crying. Like everything's just so good. Everybody's so talented in the show.
So most of your lineup of experiencing voice acting in anime are about couples or girls and guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this might be your first role where you're in a role with girl love. Would you see that you can feel the difference, or do you see them as the same brand line of love between both characters? I mean, between all story when they share love with somebody else.
Yep. So I have done some shows with either lesbian or bisexual characters. I myself am bisexual, so it's different. Like there's you pull from different emotions for these different types of characters. This is my first like romance anime that's girl love. I've done some like non-anime girl love shows, and I've had some other characters that might be say lesbian and like an evil character, or lesbian and like another evil character. So it's nice for a bisexual character. That's like it's a love story.
You brought a very good point, because
evil.
No, definitely. When we started this podcast, our first episode in English was with Bob Carter. He has the parent on
Licorice Recoil.
When he have the character of a gay main character, and we were talking about it was so great for one of the few times see a gay or lesbian character being serious, not in the line of comedy or evil, because in the past, in the 90s, we have gays and lesbian character, but they were in the tone of the bad guy or the funny guy or goofy guy. And now we're seeing gays character, LGBT community character that are serious, normalized, like it really is.
Yeah, not represented as cartoons or represented as like anything buffoonish or anything for that matter. It's like, hey, here's just another regular character. It's just who they like is just apparently quote unquote different. And I'm like, finally, you're normalizing something for the rest of the population that should have been normalized long ago.
There's one scene in Villainess that is one of my favorites, where we have a serious conversation on what it is to be gay, and we say gay in the show. We don't dance around it. We like explain like just around the lunch table, and it's really great.
Now I'm looking forward, because that's a very deep, important and beautiful talking point that not everybody dare to touch. I don't know why, honestly, why they don't dare, but when we see people who take the initiative, artists, when they go take the step to take seriously where it has to be, it's beautiful to see this kind of event happening finally.
Yeah, definitely.
But changing the tone a little bit from serious to not too much serious now. I had to do it with one of my favorite series from the spring 2023 lineup. I think more than a married couple, but not lovers, with Akari Watanabe.
Yes.
With, oh my god! For those who haven't watched it, how do you describe that anime series that was released a few months ago? So we're going to be more sassy with the spoilers tonight.
Okay,
Spoiler.
so not quite as wholesome as Villainous. A bit more fan service with that one, but
For sure.
again, it has its sweet moments. It's a very different sort of feel. I love Akari. I just love her whole style. While I was recording the show, I was like, I gotta get my nails done every week to keep up with her. Like, like keep up with her style. She always has different nails and different like hairstyles, and I'm like, I just want to be like her, and not like like me. Like, come on. But that's a super fun show.
And I agree with you. Akari was so interesting because she was like, she's first show as a normal high school girl, like, oh my god, super fashion and style up, very hair. But eventually we discovered that she's very serious and she's looking forward. She has a very serious part that nobody see at her first sign. Until we have these great projects. For those who haven't watched it yet, this is the story where a high school have this class about marriage, but this student, they have to coexist or live together with a random student, which they're all, now that I think about it, they're a girl and guy, the couples together interesting. In a building like a married couple, and they are evaluated. If the relationship progress, they get point. The relationship looks bad, they might get point. But our main characters, they didn't want to be together. They want Akari wanted to be with his guy that she have a crush for him, and our main male character Jiro wanted to see with this other girl who had the opportunity to confess to her in the past but never did it. And now we have the drama where you had to score great points so you can swap couple, but getting points something more mature. So tell me about the experience. So how far is Akari from your personal being? Like, do you see the personality too far from who you really are, or you just have fun?
She's
being
who
her?
I strive to be. Like, if I was actually cool. No, she's very different than me. But that's what I love about acting, is you get to play these roles that you could never like be in real life. I'm gonna have fun and be confident and be like super hot and like look at me. I don't know, it's a lot of fun to step into different shoes with a character as like awesome as she is.
You are Erika Amano in A Couple of Cuckoos. For people who haven't watched this show, it's another like Lindsay said, it's another slice of life romance show. How would you describe? Yeah, how would you describe this show?
Again, lots of screaming, but usually from Nagi, who's freaking out over everything.
True.
Erika is my love. I have about, I think, 10, 15 figures of Erika, like right above my head here. That show is super, super cute. Like, Erika and Akari have very similar voices, but their personalities are so different. Erika's more like bubbly and like oblivious to like how the world works. And Akari's just super cool and knows what's going on, I guess. So with Cuckoos, that's going to be, I guess, more your typical harem anime.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you got the competition going on with Akari and Jiro. That's kind of more like a triangle, I guess you'd say, like a weird triangle, like two-sided triangle, because you got Akari wants to be with Jiro and Jiro wants to like be everywhere. Like it's a whole thing.
I personally love how your career spans the whole of slice of life, and that says romance slice of life, from wholesome to fan service to harem.
Yeah.
And for those who are like really new to the world of anime, these are such big tropes, especially like harem anime are such big tropes in the world of anime, because we always see one guy, and for some reason, I don't even know what the guy has, all the girls want to be with him. Like, he might not be the best person, not the hottest one out there, but for some reason he has something that boom, everybody wants to be with him. In this case, correct me if I'm wrong, is this the guy who basically tells the girl, I want to be with you, or I want to be with you and you and you and you?
No.
It's another one. Okay. See, so I know which one's this one. I'm just like confusing it with another one because there's a lot of harem anime.
So Cuckoos is Erika and Nagi were switched at birth.
Yes, okay.
So they were raised by different families. Nagi was raised with Erika's biological sister. And then they find out later that Nagi and the sister are not related. She's related to Erika. And then there's the love of his life is Hiro, who's like super smart. They're in a competition at school. Like she wants him to beat her, and then they might date. But meanwhile, he's now living with Erika because the parents set that up. It's a whole thing.
And also we have here that is the mate temple. So it's like, hey, you want to date me, you need to be like perfect score, but now you have your perfect score. We need to talk with my parents that they're going to be super mad with you. And because it's not enough already, we need to add the new challenger, Nagi. I will say family grow up family, Sachi. Who now she also is interested. So I know I don't know. People call it typical. I don't know if call it typical, non-typical harem. Something get confusing, but I enjoy the story honestly. I'm super fan of the opening. Every time I hear the opening song and the sequence, I love it.
It's super fun.
But I did this kind of funny question to the main voice actor for Nagi in Spanish. And I'm going to do it for you then, you're Erika. So we have a weird relationship here where Sachi is interested with Nagi. And we have two kind of people who call it fair play or no fair play. Would you bless that try to go, or you say no game?
With Sachi and Nagi?
Yeah.
No, because Erika is endgame here. Come on, she's got to win.
I'm with you on this part, honestly. I'm with you in Erika. But I was playing with the guys like, hey, so is she still sister, not sister? Because they grew up together as sister and brother, but now they're not really.
I feel like even if they're not blood related, they grew up
exactly
as brother and sister. So I'm reading ahead in the manga, and so I'm like, no, Erika's got to win.
I'm with you.
I agree.
Even though
Onyx's like fair play. I'm like, no, not fair play. It's exactly what you said, Lucy. Like, they grew up together. They for however many long years they thought they were brother and sister. Just because now they found out they're not. You're gonna say it's okay? That's just weird.
Yeah.
Don't take me wrong. I don't want Nagi to finish with Sachi. I just want the drama to keep. I just want to throw gas to the fire, like burn it, burn, make the fire higher because I want to enjoy this drama. Even that I want the end game to be Erika finish with Nagi, which it's kind of beautiful how both family they just accept them. Like, oh, so we switched babies 17 years ago, something like that. So, oops, it happens. So hey, my son that I never raised.
It's been so long since we recorded it, but I just remember the birthday party that we did for the dad on there, and it was just so fun, like everybody coming together. That was a super fun scene.
No, definitely. But talking about past, so how Lindsay Sheppard made it to the voice actor industry?
So I actually, I went to college. Well, we'll step back. So I grew up and I wanted to be a doctor, like all through even high school and everything. My senior year, I was like, I'm going to be a doctor. That's what I'm going to do. But I really loved my cartoons when I was a kid. Kids WB hour was my thing, like watching Pinky and the Brain, like Goof Troop, that whole thing. I would come home, like have my VCR. I'm showing my age here. And
we're the same boat.
Exactly. We're here relieving nostalgia.
Running home and watching my shows, and like Rob Paulson was my like hero growing up, but I never knew it could be a career for like real people. Like you had to be like in LA and famous, and like that's not a thing that I could do. Like I was so nervous to, like, I took some acting classes in high school, but I never did one of the plays because I was very, very shy. I still am super, super shy. When I had my French midterm, we had to have a tape recorder and record our voice speaking French into this tape recorder, and it took me like 2 days staring at this thing before I could hit the record button because I was so nervous to hear my voice on this tape recorder. I was like, that's not going to be something like would ever cross my mind to do. But senior year of high school, I suddenly decided, my mom was probably very happy about it, that I was not going to go to medical school. I was going to be an animator instead, because I also loved drawing. I was like, well, I want to be part of cartoons in some way, and I love drawing, I love art, like that's what I would spend all my time doing. So I went to school to be an animator. I was the only female in my entire class. Wow. So for all of our student projects, I had to do the girl voices for all the student projects. I was like, wait a second, this is actually pretty fun. So I finished up, got my degree, and I never used it. And I jumped straight into voiceover after college.
So I was going to ask, because I do see in the background that you have a lot of the colors and the setup all really nice, like right next to the tree. And I'm like, does she draw or paint or something? Because I see all that there. And then you're like, oh, I was studying to be an animator. I'm like, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So when do you like... Okay, so you said, okay, I can do the voices, I can do this. How do you then jump into the world of voice acting? As to do it like professionally, I'm doing this, I'm dedicating my life to this.
So any of my current students, don't take my advice because I did it wrong. I basically said, I want to do this. And I quit my job and went on the internet for like a month straight and just asked everybody, hey, how do I do voiceover? And like, how do I do like boy voices? And then like, I just like read all sorts of things and asked people like, how do I do this? And I just spent a month straight like figuring out how to do that. And I went for my first audition and I booked the lead role in this Chinese animation called The Adventures of Shan Mao and Jimmy. and I played this little bunny character, Jimmy, for that, and that was my first ever role that I booked as a professional voice actor. And then a bit further along into my career than should have been, I had a client ask me if I could not have such a New York accent. It's like, what accent are you talking about?
Wow.
I don't have an accent. Oh, but I did have an accent. I had a very strong New York accent and I didn't know. So I spent like another month unlearning my natural accent and getting a neutral, general American Midwest accent. Yeah, my New York comes back if I'm tired or angry, or if I'm trying to say Florida. So Florida, orange, water, coffee, like all those things, coffee, all those things can trip me up. But yeah, I spent a long time unlearning my New York accent.
That's hilarious. That's what I was gonna ask. I'm like, does it surface from time to time? It's gotta.
Yes, my husband, he's an agent, so he doesn't quite have to unlearn his accent quite as much, but he's got a very strong New York accent that people are like, I know where you're from. Like, yeah.
So then, because you learned how to basically get a more neutral American accent, right now, I mean, because you're talking to us, and I see, I wouldn't have pegged you for, hey, you come from New York, because you don't have New Yorker accent. Would you say that in your daily life, you don't use that unless you are, like you said, tired or whatever?
Yeah, so I use this neutral accent all the time, pretty much, unless I'm tired. But I've been using it so much that my New York accent is one of the most difficult accents to remember how to do. Like I grew up on Long Island, and trying to get that natural accent back, like I have to think about it a bit. Like I can do my Brooklyn accent, and like that's a little bit easier, but the one that I unlearned is the most difficult one to put on.
That is so interesting. And would you ever say that if you go back and visit New York, you get the accent back?
Oh yeah, not? Oh yeah. If I go visit my family, I'm talking like my mom.
Oh, that's so funny.
I can understand the struggle, because today we're recording technically the Monday after Thanksgiving weekend. So for me, I spend Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday without speaking anything in English. And today, Monday, was a day that at work I didn't got any phone call. So technically, this is my first hour going back to English after so many days, and I'm struggling here trying to speak English fluid. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I can understand the struggle about changing accent.
Yeah. I'm one of those people that, like, if I visit someplace, I'll like unintentionally start speaking in the accent of whoever I'm speaking with at the time. But yeah, New York, it'll pick back up if I'm surrounded by all these Long Islanders.
No, definitely.
I just love that. Anyway, so I do want to talk about one show you're on that's not necessarily anime. Depends on how you classify it, but it's Hello Kitty Super Style, where you play Frido and Rio. And I do want to talk about this one just because, one, you said you love pink, and it's pink. And two, backstage before we started recording, you said that your daughter is very much into this because mommy is our characters in Hello Kitty. So. Yes. how's that experience been?
So that show was so much fun. So that one was done as prelay, so prelay is done differently than like anime. Anime, the picture's already done, and you're dubbing over the original language.
Okay.
With prelay, the animation's not done. We just have the script, and we get to originate the character.
Wow.
So the show itself is in all these different countries. It's in Japanese, it's in all these other languages, but we're the original actors for it. So they're dubbing over our voices in France and Germany and Japan and everywhere else, which is really cool. Plus, we get to do a whole lot of improv on the show. Like, we'll say the line in the script, but then we'll just keep on going sometimes, and you have that freedom that you don't have in dubbing so much. So there were times, especially with my character Frido, she's like not necessarily evil Hello Kitty. She's a diva. She's just very full of herself, and she's a lot of fun to play. And it's super easy to just kind of go off in her character, just keep on going. So I would just like the director just be like, "Yep, just we'll keep rolling on that." A lot of fun. The director for that, her husband is actually a puppeteer. He's the puppeteer for Animal in the Muppets. So we got to talk a lot about that while we were recording the show, and that's a lot of fun.
I'm sorry, I'm just like here trying to think about the puppeteer, because I personally love puppets. Mm-hmm. I've always thought they were hilarious, and people who can do this, I'm like, that's just amazing. So the fact that you have that opportunity to like talk to a person who does this for a living, mm-hmm. and I'm like, oh, I'd love to hear that. So
super fun.
Is Batmaru in this show?
What's that?
Is Batmaru? He's on this show too?
Yes, as a guest appearance every once in a while. So we have like the main characters that are on regularly, and actually you'll recognize some of them from other shows. So I play Frido and Rio, and Nicholas Andrew Louis, who plays Nagi in A Couple of Cuckoos, plays Frido's best friend Zanti in this one. And Kara Edwards, who plays Lene in Villainess, plays Rio's best friend, Pinky, in the show also.
I feel like I just bring in memory from the past, because I also seen Proppy with the froggy.
Carapi.
Carapi. Oh my god,
Carapi. I never know how to say it in English.
Yes.
Okay.
One Spanish over there, Carapi.
And Nofi plays Karopi in this one, and Nofi was my lead in a show that I directed called Patronix Defenders, which is a kids like preschool, older preschool type show. And Nofi is amazing, and she is one of the guest stars as Karopi in this one also.
I'm here just unlocking memories, because when we were in school, elementary, guys, this is back at that time, guys were not allowed to have like Hello Kitty. Parents clinically will not allow us to have it. Mm-hmm. So the counterpart to try to get closer to Hello Kitty was Batmaru. Mm-hmm. And maybe getting closer with Keropi, which I used to love the movie, and sometimes something might split from Hello Kitty. So for it was like that for us guys back then, was like our only bridge to Hello Kitty. Batmaru and Keropi. So I'm sitting there like, damn, I'm just unlocking memories here from second grade. third grade.
Unlucky
Oh, yeah.
memories. You want to talk about unlucky memories? We can totally talk about the pencil cases. Like you weren't cool in school if you didn't have a either Hello Kitty, Basmaru, or Garopi pencil case, and those were the bomb. I still actually have one of them still at home.
Oh, nice.
It survived all these years.
Nice.
So, Lindsay, for those who are considering joining the voice acting career or are thinking about it, any words of advice for them?
Study with a coach. I actually am a coach, and I do teach through Lone Star VO, which is a community that I founded for Texas voice actors to kind of learn about the industry and have a community to kind of come together to. But study with a coach, not just one coach, study with multiple coaches, because everybody has different life experiences and you can learn something new from everybody. So don't just quit your job and start, because it's a lot different than it was when I first started. There's a lot more competition now. So in order to compete in the industry, you have to make sure your skills are as great as you can get them before trying to jump in. So study with a coach. Join an improv group. Improv is one of the skills that I use more than like anything else in voiceover. And a lot of communities have local improv groups that you can kind of just jump in for a class or two. That helps a lot. Community theater, anytime you get to act is invaluable.
I feel kind of unfair throwing this question, but now that you mentioned you're a professor on voice acting, I want to throw a student to professor question here.
Mm-hmm.
You don't mind? And try. It is complicated. It might go to way more time. I might be exaggerating, but for voice actors that are considering starting their career in the industry, it is important to have like a social media profile, very popular, or it doesn't have too much weight.
That you don't have to have social media even to begin with. There's plenty of voice actors that don't use social media, especially if you're gonna go into like corporate narration, commercials. Like you don't really need social media. Social media can be a tool in your marketing. There's like video games and animation. You might help your chances of like finding these jobs by being familiar with social media. There's some casting companies that do look at your social media presence. But if you let it, social media can take over all of your time that you put aside for marketing, and it'll just kind of get away from you. So scheduling time to do social media is a good way to kind of build that presence. But focusing on direct marketing efforts is going to go way further. Researching which clients you want to work with, and working on your skills and auditioning is going to get you even further.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I know it was kind of unfair to throw that question right in the last segment, but thank you so much, Lindsay, for joining us tonight.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
For those who haven't followed you yet, which social media, or which website or social media can follow you?
Okay, so on Twitter, whatever it's called now, I'm L Sheppard VO. On Instagram, I'm Lindsay Sheppard VO. TikTok, I'm Bubblegum Voice. I really should consolidate these into like a single thing, but I don't. If you want to find direct links to all of that, I have my website is just bubblegumvoice.com, and you can find everything. And I have like a link tree or something, so you can click on all the different things on there.
Which honestly, if you can spare like 1 or 2 more minutes, you can talk about why that website is called Bubblegum Voice, because I thought it was such a funny story.
So, as you can see, I'm obsessed with the color pink. So I wanted something pink in my branding. And back when I started in VO, everybody was food. For some reason, everybody's branding was food. So I hopped on the bandwagon and I became food also. But I needed something that was a good tagline. So when I teach my students to come up with their branding, I ask them to use words to describe their voice. And some words that kind of came up with my voice were like sweet, sexy, and fun. I'm like, okay, what about like the voice that pops? Bubblegum pops. It's sweet, sexy, and fun. So that's my tagline, and it all just fits.
And honestly, it is really cool. So yeah, once again, thank you, Lindsay, so much for everything. For those of you who haven't followed us yet, you can follow us on every single social media that there is, on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter or X, Twitch, and everything else as El Cookie Otaku. And that's pretty much it. So once again, thank you for joining us in today's episode, and we will see you in the next episode. So bye.
Bye-bye.